Hello everybody and welcome to the second tutorial where we're working on this longer Word document. You may remember in the last tutorial we created this document, we inserted a picture, it says selecting it, we added a table, we added lots of text and we broke it up and we added some pointed text there, bullet points, those kind of things. What I've done off camera is I've been through this document and I've added headings to the document that you can see here, which are, if I select one, bolded and set to point size 12, as opposed to the rest of the text, which is not bolded and point size 11. And that's just to make this text stand out as a heading or subheading, something to break up your text. If I zoom out of the document, you can see, oh, that's too far. But if I zoom in here, get 2 pages on the screen, you can see it breaks up the text and makes it look much easier to read. I can zoom further out so you can see a bit more. Zoom right in. You can see how it makes the text look a bit more readable and something that you'd expect to see in a longer document. Now this is fine, but what if I wanted to change the formatting of all these headings? Let's say I wanted them to look blue or slightly bigger. Now I can do that. I can change them manually here. I can make them bigger. I can make it blue. Any nice blue I like. But I would have to do that on every single heading manually. Now in this document we've only got 8 pages, so it'd probably take me 2 or 3 minutes, and it wouldn't not too long at all. But if this was a very long document that had lots of different kinds of headings in, I couldn't be sure I'd captured them all, done too many, done too few, and it would be quite laborious, and there's a risk of significant human error. So there's a way around that. What we can do is we can convert these just from, at the moment they are just standard text that just happen to be in a slightly different font formatting than the rest of the text. What we want to do is convert these into actual headings so that when Word sees them, it treats them as such and they can be edited all together. So I'm just scrolling to the top here. An example of this is actually at the top already. This where I've got the title. This is set to title in the styles bar here. And I can actually click on these and change the formatting to whatever I want using this button here and what it looks like in this window. And there's a few more beneath. There we go. Go to normal. I want it as title still. There we go. And as you can see, I can change that on the fly. I can select it and say, I want that to be heading style, title style, a subtitle. And we can use that for the rest of this document. So if I scroll down and got my first header here, what I'm going to do is select that by clicking and dragging over it and choosing heading 1. Now yes, this has changed the formatting, so it's helpful that it's illustrating my point. There is a way to change this so it looks more like what we had before, and we'll come on to that later. So what I'm just going to do now is scoot ahead and change the rest of the headings to be the same. So I'm going to do there. There we go. Okay. So as you can see now, this has now changed these headings. They look different to before, and that's fine, but they're all now using this heading 1 selection. And you can see if I scroll to another one and click on it, it says heading 1. So if I click in my text, it has normal, and in the header it has heading 1. Now you can see you have heading 2, and you can put other ones in here yourself as well, and we'll come on to that shortly. But the point I'm making here is that now we have them all the same. If I want to change them all, I don't have to change them on the page, I can change them in the styles bar. So let me just scroll back up towards the top of our document. There we go. I think, yeah, the first one's on the first page, so we'll use this one. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more as well. There we go. Apologies, I like to keep my page zoomed out a fair bit, so as we don't need to read the text, it's not too important, but this probably makes it a bit easier to see what we're doing. So we've got all these headings changed. Now this has an added benefit, which we'll come to in a moment, but first of all, what I want to do is show you how that can be affected by one change rather than going to every single heading. So I go to heading 1 here, I can right click it, I can choose modify, and you can see I have some font choices here. So it's got the font type, the size, and the color. So let's say I want to make them all look like I had them before. So I know they were black, they were bold, and they were point size 16, and they were normal Calibri body. So I'll change that, and change that, and bold is what I want. And I'm going to tick the automatically update button. I'm also going to leave this selected in only in this document. And this is important because I'm only doing this for the purpose of this document here. For other documents I may do, I might not want this as my heading format. So I'm just going to leave it in there. If I click this button instead, it would put this change into any new Word document I did until I told it otherwise. So I'm just going to click OK. And you can see it's immediately changed the heading there. And if I scroll down, it's changed that one, it's changed that one, it's changed them all. So now you have a way of changing all the headings in your document really quickly, providing you use one of these styles. Similarly, I should say, we can change the look and feel of the title. So I don't have to click in here, I don't have to select it, I can right click title, I can choose modify, and let's just choose a different font. Let's go to Jill Sands there and make it bold. You can see it changes it on the fly. So if I were to make, quite bizarrely, but I could make this sentence here by just selecting it all and choosing a title. You can do that. I'm just going to undo that because it looks awful. But it illustrates the point that it's not just the fact that the text is at the top, it's wherever you tell Word that you want that text to be a title. Now, there's an added benefit to all this work. By using these styles, we can automatically populate a table of contents. So if you're thinking of a long document, maybe a short book, an academic paper, that kind of thing, you may want to introduce a contents page at the beginning. And the easy way to do that is wherever you want the contents to be, I'm going to just put it right here at the beginning of the document. I'm going to click in there. I'm just going to put some line spaces in with my return button just to give myself some working space. It's probably going to introduce a bit too much white space when we do this, but I can delete that afterwards. It's just my way of working so I can see where I'm working. Okay. What I'm going to do now is go to the References tab up here and click on Table of Contents. And I'm actually going to click on the little drop down icon arrow to the side of it. And what it does there is it gives me some sample options of Table of Contents that I can use. Now you can see it's got heading 1, heading 2, heading 3 inside there. And we'll show the effect of that in a minute. I'm just going to click on this one here, and now you can see it's created a table of contents for me. As I mentioned, it has created some extra white space, so I didn't need to put in what I did, so I'm just going to delete that. And the nice thing is this is a clickable entity, and it gives me the headings. It picks up the headings and puts them into the contents table. So my first heading says, where has it gone? It says click insert and then choose elements, blah, 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 blah. And that's what the first one here says. The next one says themes and styles also help keep your document coordinated. If I scroll down, there we go, there's the next one. So this is really helpful. The other nice thing is that it means you don't have to do this table of contents manually, and you can get it to automatically update if you change anything. So let's say, just for argument's sake, that I insert an extra page in here, so the page numbers are actually going to change from all the following pages. Now, quick tip, I can insert a new page here by just pressing Control and Enter, and it inserts a brand new page there. So obviously this one has now got a load of blank space. That's fine for now. I'm just illustrating a point. What we've done is all the headings from page 3 onwards are now on the new page number. So rather than having to go back to our table of contents and manually change all these numbers, I can click on the table of contents. I can then right click it and choose update field. It asks me if I want to update the page numbers only or the entire table. I would normally go with an entire table because you never know if you've changed any text in the headings as well, but you might want them to look different, so Word gives you an option to only do the numbers as well. But choose an update entire table, and you can see all the page numbers change. The other way I could have done that, if I just do Control Z to undo that, I'm going to click in my table again, and you've got Update Table here, click on that, and you get the same option. And there we go. So, quite simply, that's adding headers, making headers editable so they all change on together, and inserting table of contents that can be automatically, or nearly automatically, updated on the fly. Now, you see here it's got these, sometimes it doesn't refresh properly and you get little things on the screen from the table of contents. If you click on that, this never gets printed out. It's just something on the screen to let you know that there's extra options in there, like changing the format of it, things like that. There we go. So that's it for this tutorial, and we'll see you in the next one.